Hello my love, it's Rachel here, and today I want to share with you about my relationship with the Crone energy. How she showed up in my life and how she has been helping me. This card here, the Crone, Know Your Power. It is a card that belongs to the Lost Oracle, and it's gorgeous, isn't it? So it's here displayed on my desk. I love this image. Well, my love, when it comes to working with the Crone energy, some people think that we are going to work with this energy only when we reach a certain age, maybe over 50, 60, 70, or when we are in menopause, or if we are an elder woman. It's simply not true, right? So, for example, I'm not in that certain age, I'm not an elder yet, and I'm not in menopause, and I've been working with her because it's not about age. It is about an energy, and it is about a wisdom, an inner wisdom that all of us, we have inside of us, men and women, that sometimes I would say that we just left this energy behind, and at some moment in our lives we are going to be invited to welcome this energy in, to ignite that fire of this phase of the feminine wisdom inside of us. Let's say that we receive that call at some moment in our lives. Some of us, we say, you're welcome, and others say, no, I don't want it now. Well, in my case, I received the call and I said, welcome, I want you with me from now on, let's go together, right? It is a different consciousness of this wisdom. We have this wisdom inside ourselves, as I told you, but the consciousness is different. Being aware of this wisdom is different. So think that we have two different moments in our lives. So one of them is the moments of transition. I think all of us, we went through those kind of moments in our lives when we have one foot here in what used to be and another foot in what's becoming. And we can stay there in the transitioning process for years, sometimes for the whole life, right? Now, when it comes to a threshold, it's different. Threshold, I would say that it's that moment when we think, okay, I can't keep it. It's not sustainable to be like this, so I'll have to choose, and I'll have to go all in one, choose one direction and go all in. We decide to step forward. And you must be willing to cross the threshold and maybe close the door behind us. That is something about commitment, about choosing, like choosing what we are going to do, choosing crossing the threshold or not, and make the commitment. And that's where the Crone stands. It's not in the transition, she's in the threshold. She is there helping us to take some decisions about, you know, those moments when we say things cannot keep going the way they are now. Enough. The Crone says enough. In my life specifically, she showed up in 2024, I would say. 2023, end of 2023 and beginning of 2024, and we really worked together. We started in 2024. So when I moved to Canada back in 2014, that's when I started sharing about spirituality online. And there, I made a choice. I was there, okay, should I start sharing in Portuguese, which is my native language, or English? And I decided to go with Portuguese, even though I knew that eventually I would have to start sharing in English, because I know that there's a reason why I'm here. There's a reason why the light decided to send me to live in a different country where people speak a different language, right? And I knew that I would have to do that. But then, okay, 2014, 15, 16, I started growing in my native language. Then I started having thousands of followers, thousands of students and clients. And you get used to that. And it's comfortable. And I started, oh, of course, I was always there postponing starting in English. Then we had the pandemic. And then when the pandemic hit, I worked like never before since I started my spiritual work, right? Like never before, because people really need it. So I spent 2 years speaking my native language all day long because I had courses, I had master classes, I had a community of members, I had immersions, I had one-on-one sessions. It was like all the time. That's what I did for 2 years. That was something that had to happen in my life because I think that all of us, we went through a deep transformational process during the pandemic, right? And that's what I had to go through that situation, to stop having my feet in both sides and take a decision. Because at the end of those 2 years, I was feeling a strong disconnection inside of me. I was feeling like I was living physically here, but my mind was not here. And language is something important, guys. So I was thinking, I was coming back to thinking in another language and get involved to the other problems, other issues, other everything. It was like I was not living here, right? But my body was here. So of course I started feeling that inner tension and understanding that something was happening. So it was 2022 and that tension started happening inside of me, and I was kind of, you know, that dark moment we have to go through. That dark moment before the light starts to show up in our lives. And then 2022 I had that. 2023 was a more challenging year for me. And 2024, by the end of 2023, she showed up. She showed up. And how? It's funny. I was taking a look at Facebook, something that I usually don't even do. And then I saw a video, a small video, reels, right? And it was an elder woman. And I had a thought that I've never had before. The thought, I want to be like her. And it was like a fire inside of me. And it's funny because I would never look at anybody like older or younger than me and think I want to be like that. Like, what does it even mean? And I knew that it was that energy. Now, first of all, I am a Capricorn. So, as people say, we are old people since always. And I always loved old people. I don't have any problems with aging, nothing like that. But I never felt like I want to be like that specific person. And I got kind of excited with the idea of aging and stuff like that. It started happening and I didn't know why. I didn't know what is that. And then who showed up to work with me was the Kalia. She just showed up. And I was like, no, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know anything about her. No, it doesn't make sense. Then I decided to do what I always do. I went there to study about her. And I was kind of, I don't know, I'm not so sure. It is a challenging energy to work with. And in the way I work with goddesses, I already have videos about it here, but I'm going to talk much more about that because working with goddesses, with this divine feminine is a crucial part of my spiritual work, right? It's always been I love goddesses. These goddesses, they are vessels. So I don't worship them, but they're vessels for something that I'm meant to manifest in my life, to receive some kind of light that I'm meant to receive, and they help me to give shape to that light as vessels that they are. Then I said, let's work together then. And the Kaliash is not like butterflies and rainbows and unicorns, nothing like that. It's something very challenging, and it was very challenging for me. It was dark. It was a dark moment when you have to accept that maybe there's some part of you, maybe there's some old identity that is over, that fulfilled its purpose. And you must be willing not only to, to create the funeral, let's say, for that part of you, but not only to say goodbye, but to be able to say thank you. Because sometimes we look at some choices that these past versions of us, they took decisions and we say, why did you take that decision? I should have chose different. And it's a moment to understand that back then, when that part of us made a choice, she did the best she could with the tools, with the knowledge, with the consciousness she had back then. So when it's over, when her work is over, we must learn, we must know how to say goodbye and a huge thank you. Now I'll keep going from here, right? And that was a challenge for me. And I went through that other times in my life, as I would say. It was probably the third time that was very intense. A threshold, a real threshold, not a little transformation, something that changed. Things changing in our lives. We have that all the time. I'm talking about a strong part of us. Maybe even a whole identity. So I had to decide if I was willing to close the door behind me, to make that movement, to give up, I would say, on a name, authority, and comfort, and having all those clients and all those students and stuff like that. It was a difficult choice, but I had to make, because for me, that's how I am. I don't believe that anything here is just material. I believe that everything's an experience, a spiritual, as human experience for us to transform spiritually what we have to transform. That's what I believe. So you are always looking for expansion. And sometimes expansion is keep growing something that exists. But sometimes expansion is allowing a tower moment to happen in some area, in something, some situation, so that something new that is meant to be much bigger can grow. Because sometimes that vessel that we had there, it's not big enough. It's not going to be able to hold everything that we are building now, everything that we are meant to do, to be, and so on. And here, guys, I'm not talking about money, about showing up, about being famous, nothing about that. I'm talking about our spiritual tasks, about spiritual energy and our inner transformation. Because sometimes you can look at your life outside and think, nothing changed, but internally we know that we are going through a threshold, we are going through a transformation. And the Kalia showed up, and she helped me a lot. It was winter. We worked together, and I was studying about her, welcoming her in my life. She invited me to allow, she guided me more than invited me. She guided me through that morning moment, right? When that old Rachel was ready to go so that the new Rachel could show up. And then another one that showed up to work with me then in 2025 was Hecate. And I shared with you already, by the end of 2024, I knew that my word for 2025 would be threshold. And she showed up to help me to cross the threshold that was 2025. A huge threshold moment, a huge transformational moment, a year that is going to be forever in my memory, in my heart. And Hecate was there. So Kalia and Hecate are the ones that I've been working with when it comes to the Crone energy. And now in January, this winter, I'm taking a Crone course, and we work a lot with Baba Yaga there. So I'm starting my work with Baba Yaga as well, but I have been working primarily with Kalia and Hecate. If you want to see the decks that I've been using to work with these beautiful, beautiful energies, just let me know in the comments down below, and I'll come here. Now, watch this video about working with the Divine Feminine, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for being here, beautiful soul. Lots of love.